presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Phil in Puerto Rico. Hey, Phil, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, doing great. Just wanted to thank you guys and the whole crew. Best content on the internet. Really appreciate everything you guys are doing.
We appreciate you growling and prowling with us out here. Phil, how did you find us?
I just typed in live trading in YouTube one morning.
Cool.
I was looking for any type of live trading room. You guys came up, and
awesome.
I know quality when I see it, or at least I like to think so. And I mean, you guys are just a dream. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Welcome to the Tiger family. We appreciate you growling and prowling with us.
My pleasure.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Hi, everyone. Basil Chapman sitting in for the one and only Tom O'Brien, who's out, and I am sitting in, so it's my pleasure to be here. I always do, the 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock Tiger Technicians Hour, and my service here is the opening call daily newsletter. Now, let's just go to what we're looking at. The market was meandering, it was down, it was not looking very good, and then suddenly there were really positive market receptive comments by Chairman Powell. Whew, just a huge takeoff. We'll talk about that in a moment. But let's just look at it. As we're looking at it right now, the Dow, the technicals in the Dow are very good. Let me just do this very quickly here. For those of you who are not used to my notations, I'll just show you. I can go. Oh, that was the wrong thing. Let me just go to this very quickly. I'll have this done. What I wanted to show you just quickly is that in the Chapman methodology, the idea is to identify the lowest low bar and then count each successively higher peak and alphabetize them A through G. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just each higher peak gets alphabetized sequentially. And it's when you get to the fourth highest peak, peak D, that other things can happen. Within that context, what we're looking at here in the Dow is we identify the low that was a GSASC right at the bottom at 28,660 on the 13th of October. We got stopped out of long positions. We very quickly, the next day, went back to a long position of the Dow, and we added to it for subscribe to my opening call. I'm doing this only to explain what we're looking at, why we're looking at it, and the reasoning, and that kind of gives you a market perspective from my point of view. So we got to a peak D, and I used something called bar symmetry, and I'll explain that. Oh, good idea. I'll show that in a little while. I discussed it in my show today about bar symmetry. And it said, at each point that I choose, either it's the exact low or the exact high, and it means the number of bars that have come down can equal the number of bars going right back to that point, and it could be on the way up. You could go up and then you get a peak and it comes down. You can measure the number of bars. But most importantly, what I was saying is 34,281, the high of August the 16th, each successively high actually did exactly what we were looking at. You can see left side, right side, there's a daily chart. It was not an exact plumb line to the bottom because sometimes you have to use other techniques because it isn't very obvious to go to the low of the move. And what I said was by the 20, in this particular sequence, the number of bars from that particular midpoint, the plumb line, should take you to the 23rd of November before it gets to 34,281. On the 23rd, the high was 34,262. It was just under 20 points lower. The very next day it hit it. It was one bar late, exactly in time and price. It was a bar late. And then it pulled back. But I said, in this particular pattern, there's so much strength that there's a really good chance that this peak G could, in fact, have an alternate count C. And for those of you who are not used to the Chapman wave, don't worry about it. What I'm saying is there was enough room that there could be a bounce, and maybe we get to that D. Within that context, last weekend, as I did more and more analysis of the market, it seemed to me that the market, I've been talking about a digestive phase for some time, about 2-3 weeks. If you look at the S&P, you will see that the S&P has been in a digestive phase at a 4,028 high around about the 13th of November at the 200, this orange-pink 200-period moving average. So a retest at 40.34, just 4 points higher, 6 points higher, and then it pulled back again. And this morning it was meandering. But look, the 9-period moving average was strong above the 14-period, and bam, we get this news today, and now we're at a new recovery high above the 200-period moving average, but we haven't yet challenged this inside track. You see this weekly chart, you see the repellent zone, you see this little green and pink mini down channel? Look how many times the price has hit, gone right in, and then pulled back. This is the one that's going to be the big test. Is this a move that takes us right through it this coming week, going into next week, or does it fail? Well, this is Wednesday, halfway through the week. Let's see what happens. And you can see the same thing with the monthly chart. QQQ. So I don't want to go over all these different things because we've already discussed them. The QQQ is having a very good rally. It is in the inside track repellent zone. It's trying to break out. It's done it before and then failed. So this is going to be very important. And we'll talk about the technicals in a moment. But what I wanted to say is, within this context, look at gold. Gold's having a very strong session today, up 19 at 17.82. That 9-period moving average in the daily chart has been very strong above the 14. Every pullback has held the 14-period moving average, and now we're going towards the 200-period moving average of 1789. Will it make it? Because that will produce a cup formation. I don't want to go into all the details. I'll do that tomorrow morning in my show, The Tiger Technicians Hour. We can go through some of this in great detail for those of you who are new to my work and you're fascinated to see what's going on. And look here in the weekly chart, the 9-period is still pink. It's just about across positive, but it hasn't yet. When it does, that's going to be a good sign. And look at silver. Silver is trading very strongly up. It's up 4.2%. Up 91 cents at 22.35. Here's the cup formation I was talking about. But most importantly, the weekly chart has gone to a peak C at 1 penny above 22.5. I can't see it exactly. 22.559 starts leg D. And that's going to be really positive. At least in the short term, because the MACD is very strong. Stochastics at 82%. I like it over 80%. But there's some lagging in the daily chart, so there's going to be some catch-up because this is leg A, this is new leg B. We'll see what happens there. Going to high-grade copper, which was sharply higher, also sharply high at 3.787. Very nice move trying to tackle the 3.82 200-period moving average again from where it failed before. The weekly has already gone to a D. Looking at crude oil, I just want to get through these quickly. Got stalled at the 14-period moving average, but had a really good move of 2.47 at 80.67 right now. Looking at the TLT, let's just do the TLT, and then we can go to some other details. TLT has made a peak. In the Chapman wave, the expectation is that a buy signal upgraded to buy mode should take you to at least a D. But if it goes very quickly from D to E, be careful, because either it's a breakout to the upside or that's where you can get a deeper pullback. So we're going to be watching this in the TLT. Most importantly, I wanted to show you something. I'll do that when we get back. Have a look at the E-mini contract. I discussed this in my show earlier. Yep, there it is in leg C. D is gone to an E in the 1-minute chart, and it's in leg C in the 10-minute chart. When we come back, I want to show you bar symmetry and what happened here, and something that was just unbelievable. I'll show you when we get back. Basil Chapman, Tiger Technicians Hour.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hi, folks. So there are a couple of things I want to look at here. Let's just go to ExxonMobil. So ExxonMobil has been in this rectangle formation, and it's just stuck between 114 and 107, and it could stay there a little longer. But from the chart I'm looking at, there could be a sudden dip into the 106, 105 level, and then it can be reassessed. But at this particular point, it's been spectacular. And the sideways move, this consolidation, it's kind of what I was expecting. So for subscribers, what I did last weekend, I looked at so many charts, and they looked as if on the daily charts, they were just extended. The weekly charts were starting to improve. And it said to me that there should be some kind of a digestive phase continuing that we had seen. If I go to the S&P, you'll see what I'm talking about. S&P basically has been a sideways move for about 2.5, 3 weeks. But what I decided to do was with a smaller amount of money to go short. I didn't want to touch our Dow Diamonds and the UDOW 3 times long positions because we've already taken some profits. I wanted to keep those. We got in so fabulously that I didn't want to change. Just like we got in back in 2020, we got in at the day of the low via options, and then went to the diamonds and still have some of those. I don't want to. It's very difficult to get back into a position where you had a fabulous entry point, and now you're risking with a stop and all that what you have to do. So when I said let's do this, we'll get the SPXS. And that is the 3 times short the S&P. We got a small position there. And we got in early Monday morning before the open. And then, of course, there was that huge turn down. And I said, let's take some money off, just part of money management. So we had a few percentage gain there. And then today I said, let's raise the stop. And we're going to not let it get to our entry point, which was 20. I said, we'll take money off completely above that. So we are out of that position because all I wanted was to have long positions, cash, ready for what could be coming up. So I want to just explain that because some of you know that subscribers did go short via the SOXS in a not a big position, but a position enough to make some money and have some kind of a cushion and some kind of insurance. And now we're out. So the turn today to the upside, the spectacular, the drama of the turn didn't defaze us because we are back to just holding the long positions. But within that context, look what happened. The S&P made this alternate count G/C, and the objective here is that you can't go to an H. The next letter is a D. We've gotten to the D. So it's accomplished that to a certain extent. We've achieved what we was missing before was that the S&P hadn't caught up to the Dow in notations. Now it has. The QQQ, which is the NDX 100 trading vehicle, the Invesco QQQ Trust Series, has had a very nice move. But if this is a brand new move, this has to be A. That A failed in the dreaded H pattern, but it went under it and then closed above it within 2 days, above 2 sessions, that is. That's a good sign. And it looks like it'll close above the arch. And that says, aha, now it might be a struggle, but we could tackle the high that was made on the 16th of 289.48, number one. Number two is this morning I was talking about the volatility index, and the volatility, and the reason why I didn't even want to touch for subscribers the UVXY, which would be basically short, would be able to trade the long side of the volatility index, because it hasn't been trading as well as it should for all these big moves to the upside or the big moves to the downside. I mean, even here, look, it's at 20.52 and it's been under the 23s for over a week. Something's saying here that the insurance of buying the volatility index by fund managers has just lessened and lessened and lessened. Look how the inside track support level has been broken for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. This is the 5th week that we're underneath that pink line. So anything can happen from this point, but that's the fact right now. So it's saying that the bias has been very selectively. In the Tiger YouTube, where was it? I saw, I think Rochelle had mentioned, if I can find it here. Let's see if I can find it. TITN. Now, I did this recently. I had all the notations. I just updated a moment ago in the daily chart. I'd gotten up to there, a G/C. Remember the G/C has a good chance to go to a D. Lo and behold, it went to D. What is it? Titan Machinery Inc., full service agriculture and construction equipment, breaking to a new recovery high or a multi-year high. This is now a brand new leg B. And it's a brand new leg C. And I drawn this. I did the whole analysis in the Chapman using Chapman wave technique. I was surprised when I saw it. I thought, I hadn't looked at that for ages. And I don't know if you own it, Rochelle, but that is a fantastic. A day today, it's up 738, up 21% at 42.33. Wait a minute. Aren't we in some kind of a recession, or at least talking about recession? And we've got a machinery company. We've got Caterpillar. Let's see what Caterpillar's trading today. Oh, let me just show you. Here's my price time match right here. I couldn't go to the low because it wasn't. The visual part of it is also important. And it looks like the choice here was good because in a shorter time period, we went to a higher high than the high that was made right back here in November of 38.58, and today we're at 42.41. So this is telling us that there's something going on. The reason why I've loved the Dow for so long is that the Dow represents not the Dow Industrials. It's called the Dow Industrials. What a joke. It's not the Industrials. It is the Dow 30. And the Dow 30 is a perfect mix of just those things that right in this, it's in the sweet spot. Will it stay in the sweet spot? Well, the Dow's like a super tanker, and until everything goes right, it's like a super tanker. You don't see it turning, a little speedboat, whoop, you can turn around in a split second. Super tanker, you look up and it's over here, and about an hour later you look up and it's, there it is, it's turning around. This is the super tanker. So my suspicion is, and that's the reason why we've been long the Dow, we've become a little more aggressively long the Dow. I think that the Dow is really the play at this particular, I could be wrong, but up until now it's worked, and they don't usually turn on a dime, as we say. We'll see what happens. All right. So a couple of other things came in. Let's see. So we have. Oh, isn't that interesting? In the den, somebody says AXSM could be acquired. Unbelievable. I just had an email from a friend to say that her son is about to start working for AXSM. I said, AXSM, I've been analyzing. I've got my notations all here. And lo and behold, it made a peak D 3 days ago. And leg C in the weekly chart, this is, what is it called again? AXM is it's in the biotech, Axom Therapeutics, Inc. Looks fabulous. Leg D in the monthly chart with the technicals improving. Very nice. So I can't see what was said there. Could be acquired. Oh, boy, I don't know what that means for him. We'll see what happens there. Basil Chapman sitting for Tom O'Brien. Dow's at 553 as we round the bend. The S&P's catching up. It's up 98 points. I'll be right back. Tom O'Brien Show. I'm the guest host. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Yeah, just real quickly, and again, BTAI is BioXL Therapeutics. Nice move up today off the 200-period moving average. Yes, the way it's looking at this particular point, it takes its time to go to a new high, and then it breaks out in 3-4 bars in the weekly chart. It goes to the new high. This is now five bars, new high, and then it pulls back for 2 bars, and it's going quickly to try to tackle that. So what I'm looking at here is if it can hold 16.58, if it can hold $16. It's trading at $16.58, up $1.40, up 9%. If it can hold $16.20 to $15.96, I don't want to go too far below 16. In the next couple of days, that's good. But if it doesn't even pull back to 16.30, but in fact tomorrow it hit 17.30, I think it very quickly wants to test the high that was made on the 15th of November at 17.43. So it's acting very well here. The 9 is way above the 14. It's now nicely above the 200. I like the 9 and the 14 to actually cross the 200 period. That'll be really good. So, okay. So this morning in my show, the Tiger Technicians Hour, I had this all done. And I said, as I'm looking at it right now, where were we? We were right. That must have been 8, 9, 10. Is that correct? Oh, so what I did is when we were at the peak F in the 1 minute chart and the E-mini above the 200 period moving average for the first time in quite a few hours, I thought to myself, okay, pulling back, you've got the magnet of the 200 period moving average. That's what a 200 period moving average does. It's a long-term look back, and then the price just, until it can break away up or down, this is like a magnet. It keeps being attracted to it. And then it made this cup formation, same pattern that we might be looking at in the stock we looked at just a moment ago, BTAI or whatever it was. And then if you look at the measured move from here to here, look at the vertical aspect. Look, the technicals were deteriorating when it made that extra 1/4 point high at about 39.80 something. And then it started to pull back. And what I did is I drew in one measured move from the bottom to a support level of 39, about 52 or so. And it did that. It came within a point. I put the X in. And then I said, okay, what I wanted to do earlier on, I never did, was to make the same thing with a different pivot point, the bar numbers on the left to the right, because they're different. It's the same time frame, 10-minute chart of the E-mini, but it's looking at it in a much more extended way. And 3041.25 would be my target. And I drew in this Chapman Wave inside wedge target support line, and I put an X in, and my show was already finished over here at 10 before 11 o'clock. So I said my target is right here, and that would be at 10:50. Well, at 10:50. That should have been at 12:50. But at 11:20, 11:10, it went to within 1 point of the 30.41.25 level. And look at the bar symmetry. It got it right there. Look at the low, right there where the X is. I'm looking at 39.42.75, 39.43.25. So it made it on the X in a trough F. And then it sort of meandered, and suddenly we got the news. And look at this. We're only in leg C in the 10-minute chart. And as I said, a buy signal that's upgraded to a buy mode with a stochastic at 98.61%. That is amazing. This should go to at least a D. We'll see what happens. So with that said, that's enough already. With that, just looking at bar. Oh, the only reason why I wanted to show this was I had drawn way earlier. I never even discussed it because it didn't look. When I do this, it doesn't even show up. But I had drawn way earlier, just as an outside chance, just to talk about bar symmetry. The bar symmetry from in the 10-minute chart from the high that was made at peak D right there, and that was at 9:50 on the 28th, 9:50 in the morning, to the low that was made at 11:30 this morning on the 29th at 30.41.25. And look at this. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I actually looked at it when this started skyrocketing, and I looked and I said, wait a minute, look at that. We go all the way from yesterday, 9:20 in the morning, and look at this. At the time we're looking at 13:20, 1:20 this afternoon, when just as the big move was about to start, and it came in 1, 2, 3, 4 bars later, 4 10-minute bars. That's 40 minutes out of a day and a half, and it missed it. Look at that. That was the midpoint. Bar symmetry on the left. I would never have guessed that this could happen, and bar symmetry to the upside on the right. But that's what happens when you get these sudden announcements out of the blue, and that's one of the reasons why I was looking at weekly charts that were turning positive, daily charts were due for a rest. I didn't want to get carried away. I didn't want to get out of a position. How do you get back in? We have this today. I'll talk about it because it's a little embarrassing, but hey, what can I do? Nova Gold is a stock that very low price stock that we often trade for my subscribers to opening call. And because if gold is going to move, invariably Nova Gold, even though it was like a $4 or $5 stock, moves up in a very nice percentage, dragged up by the gold market. Well, we got in the other day, and then there was a sudden slide, a deeper slide. It just took us out of our position in Nova Gold. And today it's doing exactly what I wanted to see starting on Monday. And here it is. It's up 3.37% today, up 19 cents at 583. Maybe it's still early to get in, but it is a leg D in the weekly chart. That makes me kind of nervous. But look at the analysis we did. Everything that needed to be done. Look at this. There's your cup formation. There's the bar symmetry I chose. There's the Chapman wave inside wedge target repellent line. Usually I make it green. I made it that color and kept it just to make it stand out a little bit better. I know it's embarrassing and it's upsetting for subscribers because instead of taking a little bit of a loss, we could have had a really nice gain. And here it is. It said that by 4 days ago, it should get to, on the 25th of November, it should get to the high that was made over here, which was right there, which was $5.84, was it? 86 cents, $5.86. That still hasn't got there, but look at that. Isn't that close? Look at that. All right. Enough with that. So a couple of things we need to talk about because I've got some questions coming in. But the most important aspect that I'm looking at right now is the SMHs. The SMHs, the semiconductor, and I've been talking about this. I spoke about it yesterday. I was one of our listeners sent a bunch of emails to me, GT, to say, looking at long call positions in Chinese stocks. And I said, it has to work. Because sometimes with China, you don't know really what's going on until the market tells you that things are okay. And for a while, if you look at the FXI, this is the large cap China ETF, iShares. It's been moving up since around about the beginning of November. It was already at a peak C, pulling back, but a very nice move in the daily chart. I said, you know what? That defies what you're hearing about on the news. And the question was about NIO, which is, NIO is the Chinese electric car company. And look at them both moving. I want to relate that to the semiconductors when we get back. Basil Chapman sitting in for Tom O'Brien. My pleasure to be here. I'll be back in a moment. The Dow is up.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
All right, so the 1 minute E-mini has made a peak a D, and it's starting to pull back. But the the green 9-period moving average has been positive since right there at 4,037. And it hit 4074.25, and here at 4065, it's still green. So if it soon turns pink, you've got to be a little careful. But the 10-minute chart has only made a peak C, so there could still be a rally going into the close, or even after the close, as we finally get that D. You don't have to in such a spectacular move, but almost every time you get to a C, you should get a peak D as well. That's just the normal case. And let's get back to our story here. So the SMHs, the Semiconductor Index. So first of all, NEO's had a really, really strong move. A gap up today is up 20% up to 13 at 12.63. The FXI, and this is what I was trying to relate yesterday, that in the subtext, and the reason why I didn't want to, yes, we had the short position for a brief period, but it was a trade. I said it's insurance for now. We put in a stop. We're not going to take a loss on this position, and that's it. And now we are today. I mean, the market tomorrow could give back. We've seen that before. If there are really big emotional moves, there's a sudden big slide. We'll handle that, whatever it is. But the fact that you've got the S&P now going to leg D is a bullish sign in the sense that it caught up with the Dow. Now you've got to be a little bit careful, but here's the point. The point is the semiconductors have been rallying since October the 13th. Was that the 13th? I think it was. Yeah, the 13th, October the 13th, at 166.97. Went to the 200-period moving average. And my suspicion at this particular point is that this 223 200-period moving average number is going to be the fulcrum. I already drew in the rectangle that said we could see the SMHs trade in this range for a little while. But what's really important is this latest trend line that I've got here in the weekly chart of the SMHs says that, look, there was a move of a certain point that started back in July and then it stalled. Well, I drew that in gray, but look at this light green one. It's exactly the same. It's a 1-to-1 to the upside. If this starts to take out 228, 232, and over a period of a couple of days, there's a really good chance that it could test, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, 247.06, the high of the week of the 19th of August. The reason why I don't believe it is because we're still hearing about the contusion in the semiconductors. They don't seem to get a break. Evidently, every time they get now that China, I mean, it's just, have they come back on? I don't think they've really got their fabs back on. But whatever it is, over the year, there must be, at this point, we must be starting to get a glut of chips, I'm sure. And yet, look at the price on a shorter term, maybe I wouldn't call it intermediate. It hasn't gone intermediate term yet, but on a shorter term basis, this is telling me that the SMHs and the FXI are that underlying aspect of the market that might be hearing bad news, but the charts are saying it's a little bit better. That's really what my point I wanted to make, is that between China and the SMHs, the semiconductors, the charts are saying just at this particular point, things are looking a little bit better chart-wise. And that's really important. So I wanted to cover that. The other is the aspect of, I don't know if I need to go into yields right now. I just want to look at the HGX, and that is the Philadelphia Housing Index. Starts to move up. So that's peak A, peak B. This is also an A and a B. That's a C, D, E, F. And now it's digesting gains above the 200-period moving average. Yeah, the whole thing about this is that this consolidation that I've been talking about for a little while, for a few weeks now, you can see it right here. The housing index had a good move up. Now it's going sideways. I can put a rectangle. That'll make it visually much better to see. And the further away on the upside it gets away from the 200-period moving average of 399, the better it's going to be. And we'll have to see if that does unfold, because the weekly chart is at 5 candles all stuck within a fairly narrow range. So we'll be watching that. Other aspect I had was someone had asked me about, let me just quickly go back here. Queb. So the person who sent me the email about the NEO and the FXI, about people had bought calls. This is just trades. Look at this. Queb is, I think this is the, Queb is the China, I think this is the China Internet. Yeah, I think this is, am I right? China Internet ETF. So it goes peak A, peak A, peak. Okay. So that's also a little A there, and then that's a B. Don't forget, once you start your turnaround candle from the low, you got to count each successively higher peak. C, D. I don't know if this is going to be E or brand new A, but this is the way it is. And 200-period moving average at 29.82, and yet it is trading at 28.45. So what I am saying here is this is a really important as we go into December. My thinking was that we chop, 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 chop. And if you look at the Qs, we are still chop, chop, chop. Look, the Qs themselves, just let me finish this. This is a China ETF, made lower lows and lower highs. And until it's trading in the 36.5, 37 area, the weekly chart is still going to be consolidating, but that'll be really good, and that will really help the monthly chart. So it's trading at 28 right now. It's got a long way to go. Meantime, back at the ranch, let me just, I'd even make it 35. Let's look at, I promised myself I would look at this, and I wrote it down. Did that. So the defensive stocks, like a Procter & Gamble, where did I type that? So we've still got to be ready for any news, because this is an emotional move to the upside. Based on some technicals, and the technicals could be that the Fed is implying so far that maybe it won't be 0.75, it'll be 0.50. But whatever it is, the price is the price. And I always say price is the arbiter of the trend. It's not the technicals, anything. If price is moving up, that means it's in an up mode. If price is moving down, it's in a down mode. Keep it as simple as possible. Now, this kind of straight line move in Procter & Gamble, after making a double bottom from, I wanted to show this because I had shown this earlier. I think I showed it today or yesterday. Procter & Gamble had a low back in March, the week of the 5th, in 2021 of 121.54. It went to a peak D, a second buy mode, went to a peak D at 165.35 back, I think it was January of 2022. I chose that as the midpoint. And then what happened is we were looking at so many stocks making exact double tops within pennies and exact double bottoms within pennies or a dollar. It's quite incredible that it even happened. And that's very important, because that gives you a trajectory. Once you turn around from a double bottom or a double top, it should give you impetus for a move to the upside. Well, look at Procter & Gamble, 121.54 in March of 2021. October, the week of the 14th of 2022, goes to 122.18, less than $1 away after all that. and now it's trading at 148. And this is a defensive area. So it's very selective. Even within sectors, the defensive area shouldn't be doing well right now, but it is. I'll be back.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Hi, folks. So you remember what we were talking about in the Chapman methodology, a buy signal that goes to a buy mode implies that the upgrade takes you to at least a D. And you remember we were looking at this incredible move in the 10-minute chart going from the 3940s to the 4060s, and I said there should be a leg D to the upside because we were in leg C, and then as we were wrapping up, I said, oops, we've just made a peak C, and now we've gone to that leg D at 4,075.50. Isn't that exciting? But before you jump out and say, okay, that's it. First of all, if you're long and you're a day trader, obviously this is the exact moment to at least take quite a chunk off. But the most important thing is because it's gone more than 25 cents above this last peak, I now have an alternate count. I still keep the alternate count because we're in a kind of a topping area. The MACD is just in the 1-minute chart, it's just barely positive, and the stochastics is 74%. So this is where it could turn down. So this is where I do the next alternate count, F/C. And we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll look at it again tomorrow. All right, should be uppercase. In the meantime, back at the rest. Let me wrap it up because this is where the show wraps up. Tom will be back tomorrow, I believe. So we're looking at the Dow at this particular point, INDU, doing really well. It's up 633 at 34,490. The S in a new leg D. S&P is trading at It's also gone to a higher high, 4,071, up 113 points. What a candle. I mean, just look at that. Above the two, the further away you go from the 200-period moving average, the greater chance that even though it's a magnet, it'll become a support rather than a repellent zone. And you want it to be a propellant zone, so that's really important. But we're waiting to see if we can break that inside track repellent zone in the monthly chart. QQQ is having a good day, but lagging. A very strong candle, up 4.3%, one of the better percentage movers. At up 12 at 292. It's also short covering, but look at that, finally getting out of the way of that inside track. Wow, if we can have a good week to close, that'll be fantastic. Basil Chapman signing off. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and of course, Tom O'Brien will be back. I've just been sitting in for Tom. My show is at 10 to 11 in the morning. The Target the Dish Cell, and my service is the opening call daily newsletter. See you moments for the wrap up, and I hope you have a wonderful day.